There's a scene in The Matrix, a quiet one, easy to miss, but profound if you're paying attention. Neo is in the Oracle's waiting room and he sees a child, a bald-headed child dressed like a monk. The child holds up a spoon, and with just a look, the spoon bends. Neo stares in disbelief. The child tells him, "Do not try to bend the spoon, that's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth." So Neo asks, "What is the truth?" The child says, "There's no spoon." And only then you'll see it is not the spoon that bends, it is only yourself. Let that land for a minute. The system we think we're fighting, the world we think is so fixed and solid, is more fluid than we realize. And we're not here to conquer the system. We are here to remember that we are the system. It bends when we bend. It shifts when we shift. But you can't bend anything if you still believe it's outside of you. If anyone ever read my book, they would realize that the first 3 chapters I dealt with the subjects of precept, concept, and context. And that was deliberate. Because I recognize something that most people overlook. And that is, no matter how much information you have, no matter how much content you consume, if your concept is flawed, the content doesn't matter. You'll still misinterpret it, you'll misuse it, or completely miss the point. Concept is like a lens. If it's dirty, you can't see clearly. And for most of us, the lens we were given were turned outward. We were born into a world that rewards externalization. From the time we could walk, we were taught to chase grades, chase status, chase money, chase people's approval. Success was always out there, meaning was always out there. And thinking about it, even God was out there. You get a good job, you buy a house, you go to church on Sunday, and you follow all the rules, but somehow you think you'll find peace. That's what we are told, right? But what happens? What happens when you do all of that and still feel empty? What happens when your house is filled, but your soul is vacant? That's when realization creeps in and says that maybe the problem isn't out there. Maybe the lens is simply broken. Maybe we were never meant to live a life of externalization, but one of internalization. But let me be real honest with you. This shift from the external to the internal is not easy. I'll never forget a friend of mine, I'll call him David. David was a real success story. Well, success by world standards. He came from nothing, real hardship. Built everything he had. He had the cars, houses, you name it. He had the name, he had following. But inside, he was still that same scared boy, craving validation from a father who never gave it. So he masked it well. He was confident, he was tough, bravado, until the day his teenage son attempted suicide. There was no warning, no signs, just silence. And that day broke him. He didn't understand. He thought he had done everything right. Provided, protected, achieved. But he never gave his son what he never gave himself. He couldn't. Presence, vulnerability, inner peace. For the first time, David stopped looking out there and turned inward. And what he found was messy. Pain from childhood, shame, loneliness. He told me once, "I thought I was a strong man, but I never felt so weak before." I told him, "No, brother, that's the beginning of real strength, because you're finally facing yourself." And that's the thing. This system was never designed to lead us back to ourselves. Everything around us, from the school system to the the marketing machine. It's all built to keep our attention outward. We scroll, compare, buy, perform, conform, and this is what we call life. Even religion in its many forms has become another distraction. God is up there. Heaven is after you die. You're just a sinner hoping for mercy. But the mystics, the ones they never quote on Sunday, they told a different story. They said that the kingdom is within, that self is divine and heaven is a state, not a physical location. The ancient ones knew this. The Egyptians weighed the heart, not the resume. The Vedic sages closed their eyes not to escape the world, but to understand it. The oracle of Delphi said it plainly: man, know thyself. And yet here we are, thousands of years later, still chasing shadows on the wall. Science even backed this up. The brain's default mode network keeps looping ego-based noise. Who likes me? Am I good enough? What do people think? What are they saying? It's a cycle that can only be interrupted by stillness, by introspection. But stillness doesn't sell. So we scroll, we buy, we distract, and the wheel turns on. So here's the truth. The shift from externalization to internalization is not just a philosophical thing. This is being revolutionary. It means choosing presence over performance, choosing meaning over materialism, choosing truth over tradition. But it begins with the willingness to look in the mirror, not the physical one, that internal mirror, to question your conditioning, to feel what you've suppressed, to stop running from the voice inside that has been whispering to you all along. Come home. And when you do, when you finally make that turn inward, you begin to see the world for what it really is: a reflection, a classroom, a mirror. So the next time you feel lost in the noise, ask yourself, is this coming from me? Or am I just responding to a world that is out of alignment with who I really am? What's the lesson? There is no spoon. There is no system. There's only your reflection. And when you bend, everything else bends as well. Namaste.